What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Low Life Motherfucking Chopper Podcast.
What's up, pussycats? Jesus.
Stop putting all these little catchphrases on a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
Do a list of
dude.
all of your shit for the year.
Put it on a t-shirt. Nobody buys it. I'm super stoked for the interview that we have today. We are joined by the Titan of Tanks, the Prime Minister of Paint, Jason from TBK 1977 Time Bomb Kustoms. We are going to get into the sheer amount of painting this man has done is absolutely insane, and I can't wait to talk to him about choppers, paint, gas caps, vanning. But first, we got a little light housekeeping to do. The first thing, we got to do the 3 S's, dude. We got shows, sponsors, and shout-outs. And it's just a little light housekeeping. It's not a whole lot. But first up, we got the Holy Mother Chopper Show. That's at 1807 B Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado. It'd be weird if it was in a different state. But that's going to be at the Holy Mother Tattoo Shop. Go listen to the episode. All the information you'll ever need about that is there. It is 5 Guys, 1 Mic. We just did it a couple of weeks ago, but go check them out. That is coming up quick. 1807 B Street. I didn't write down the date.
Fucking idiot. Yikes.
Let me get that. You do another show, and I'm going to get the date.
While he looks the date, we got the La Espada Chopper Show. Listen, this kicks off the riding season here in the Northeast. This show is super fucking dope all the time. Check it out. Saturday, May 4th, 2024, 576 Primrose Street, Haverhill, Massachusetts. Custom bikes, bands, beer, food, vendors, and raffles. Indoor show and ride-in starts at noon. So there's a show inside the building. Then there's a show, if you're not invited to be in that building prior to the show, there's also a parking lot show. So fucking show up on your chopper. Bands and raffles and awards start at 4 p.m. Listen, if you've never been to a La Espada show, they do a chopper show. Usually there's some food mixed in. If not, there's a bunch of great places to eat. They got 2 bars usually, one upstairs, one downstairs. And then at 4 p.m., which is the end of the show, they do all the fucking giveaway shit and then live bands play. It's super fucking fun. Check it out. Again, that's Saturday, May 4th. If you have any questions, hit up F6T9W on Instagram.
Yeah, I got that date too. April 6th. I knew it was coming up quick. April 6th, Holy Mother Chopper Show.
Next, we got the Low Life Lowdown, June 8th, 2024. This is a chopper and motorcycle show. So listen, even if you're not cool, don't have a chopper, that's still fine. We're making an exception. Come on down. Did I say the date on that? June 8th, just in case I didn't. This is what happens when I smoke before the show. I gotta wait until we get past this. June 8th, 2024, 232 Calif Highway, Epping, New Hampshire. We're gonna have food, beer, music, raffles, motorcycle show, and biker games. All raffle proceeds go to Operation Purpose, the motherfucking homie. Listen, go back. What was the name of that episode?
Operation Malort.
Go
That's
check it out.
Malort.
Check out the homie fucking Perry. He's doing God's fucking work. He is coming to the show. I don't know if I'm supposed to put that out. Change the route. He's coming to the fucking show. Riding up for the fucking show. All raffle proceeds go to Operation Purpose. If you want to donate to that raffle or want to lock in a vendor spot, hit up No Luck Paintworks on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, go to our site and you can email either one of us. If you're semi-close to the Massachusetts, like northern Mass, southern New Hampshire, and you know somebody that has a food truck that is just bomb-ass fucking food and you want to see them at this event, hit us up. Get us in contact with them. As of right now, not super picky on the food choices, but we're hoping for at least one taco truck, yeah?
I would love some Mexican food.
That's what I'm saying.
You
Get a
can't
nice
beat, you
burrito
can't beat a
truck.
taco truck.
But anyways,
if you have any good ones, let us know.
yeah, and if they show up and they're bad, we're beating your ass.
Dude.
That's all I got for shows right now.
Yeah. So let's roll into the sponsors. The second S, we got our permanent coffee collab. Rodney has not agreed to this, but Bump Shop Diaries. Go to Bump Shop Diaries. If you buy one of our camp mugs, I'm going to give you a code for $5 off hardtail blend that's whole bean or ground. I love a whole bean, but I am too lazy in the morning for the whole bean. I need a ground. Just scoop it in, get it done. $5 off. Bump Shop Diaries, and go check out. He has so much shit on there. Like, it's kind of like a catch-all for all the shit that he's interested in. Like Bump Shop Diaries, he has like the fucking vintage shit. He has the fucking coffee. It's just like everything that Rodney loves is on there. So go check him out. Next up, giveaway sponsor for March. You got one more week to become a Patreon giveaway level supporter. That's $10 a month. That's one grass-fed beer at a fancy brewery. Kick Me Kustoms. Look at these fucking things. These are tough guy. Stainless steel, ripped for your pleasure. Go check out his episode. Was that last week? We just did that last week. Yeah. He is in the tools. Matt is a fucking solid-ass dude. Get in on that. Go sign up. Again, lowlifedropperpodcast.com. Sign up for a Patreon. Got a couple of shout-outs. I got... it's show and tell here. Big shout-out. Zenith Motoco from Colorado, dude. I responded to one of his stories. He had these fucking old Easy Rider mags. And he's like, what's your Addy, baby? And he sent them out. Dude, 1983. March 1983.
Damn, I've been looking for a February 87, bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, birth year one. Yeah. This is 41 years old. I was thumbing through it, dude. Dan was over the other yesterday or whatever. We're checking them out. Fucking, they're thick, too. And there's boobies all over them. And then he sent me a bunch of fucking koozies and stickers and shit from fucking Boulder Street Moto, baby. So big shout out, Zenith Motor Co. That's so I love getting free stuff, and that was so cool. You just to hook it up. Stuff. I love getting free. Who doesn't like getting free stuff? And Easy Rider mags that are 40 years old that are like 400 pages with boobies. So appreciate the fuck out of you, dude. Next shout out. I just got to shout out our homie Oxford Co Choppers.
Oh shit.
Dude, I hit him up and I was like, I'm making a set of those bars. I just picked up, just copped some of these cast risers.
Where did you get those?
Dude, eBay. Most of them are like $75 a piece. Like, I was fucking floored, dude. I was looking for them. Yeah, dude, they're like north of $100, most of them.
Wow.
But I scooped these for like, they look like trash. I actually vapor honed them, if you can't tell. So they look fucking brandy new. But they look like dog shit when I got them. But $30. But I had some have some scrap stainless. I'm gonna try to make some tough guy bars for the shovel.
Oh shit.
But anyways, Oxford Co. I hit him up and I was just like, hey dude, I had a couple of questions on how he does it, and he sent me a fucking reel that he did. No gatekeeping there. That dude's a solid dude. He was just like, if you have any questions, hit me up. So appreciate the fuck out of you, dude. And hopefully I don't fuck up these bars because I kind of need them. All right. Anything else, Loctite? Housekeeping.
Huge shout out to Bone Orchard.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, he does a bunch of raffles, which everybody knows. I'm not a huge raffle guy, right? Bone Orchard raffles are fucking sick. And by the lucky leprechauns of fucking St. Patrick's Day, our fucking friend Daniel's son won himself a Bone Orchard sprayer.
Yeah, dude. Congrats,
dude.
He gave me a call. He gave me a call today, and he was like, "Dude, are you checking Instagram?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, who died?" And he's like, "I won the Bone Orchard fucking Springer, dude." And I was like, get out. He was fucking pumped.
So
I'm pumped
sick.
for him, dude. Those things are so fucking nice, dude.
And he's just starting to build. It's like it's fucking perfect
Oh
timing.
yeah, made to order too.
Ooh.
He's like, should I go 6 over, 8 over? Should I go chrome? Should I go parkerized?
You should go fucking 14 to 18 over
No.
chrome and use
I'd be like,
that instead of the
I'd go 4 under. I'd go 6 under. I want my fucking
No, stop.
bottom of my frame, the front of my frame shooting sparks, dude.
No, his are too nice, dude. You got to get the long daddies for his.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go a little bit long.
Nice and tight,
And,
too. Don't be showing
yeah,
up with a
and-
wide glide bone orchard. I'll be pissed.
Dude, yeah, you only get like one opportunity to get those in a raffle. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, congrats, Dan. Anything else?
Nope. Let's get to that motherfucking episode.
Let's fucking roll into this motherfucking interview. So, we are joined by Jason from Time Bomb Kustoms. Welcome, Jason.
Hey guys.
Sad, dude.
So Time Bomb Kustoms, you're out of Indiana.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And I was surprised because I think I knew that you were from Indiana. I think those dudes were saying, like, yeah, I went out to Indiana to meet you. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's like in the Midwest. But apparently the Midwest is just like almost the East Coast because you're on Eastern time. Because I was like, oh, you must be like fucking Mountain time or some shit because you're in the Midwest. And I don't know how to look at a map.
My part of the state is on Eastern time. We
Oh,
actually
you have multiple time
like
zones.
2 different time zones in the
That's
state.
wild.
Yeah, and
No
it's
shit.
and it's maybe 3. Shit. Because I know when you go south, like around Evansville and all of that, you lose an hour.
Fuck, dude. Imagine if you worked
Down
on the other side of
south?
that line.
Yeah. And then whenever you go north and you get up around Chicago, you get on their times.
That's fucking weird
So-
because you think of time zones east to west, not north and south.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck me all up.
It's ridiculous.
Can you imagine though
like,
if you
it-
worked on the opposite side of that line? That would
Well,
suck,
people-
dude.
So the reason they changed, I remember when I was a kid that we didn't change time. And then it started because Louisville changed time zones and we were so close to Louisville, they changed our time zone so that people that drove from Indiana to Louisville for work or vice versa didn't, at least that's the way I remember it, didn't have to like mess with time changes. I mean, it still sucks. Like, I don't understand why we have
Just
it.
leave the fucking
anyway.
time alone. It's
Yeah,
whatever time
like-
it is.
Well, I mean, I
that's
get
the
it.
time.
I get it for like Boston and California being different because like the sun comes up a hell of a lot later over there. You know what I mean?
Right. But
so like it makes
the
sense for that.
The excuse they always used was farmers. And it's like, well, dude, it's 2024. They got headlights on their fucking tractors now. So it's
And the farmers don't
You
give
know-
a fuck, dude. You know what I mean?
no, like it's
They get up
I
at
don't
3
know,
a.m.
it's-
anyways. No matter what time, which way we switch the clock back and forth, it's still dark at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's all just ways to keep us fucking depressed is all it is.
100%.
So-
And at least make it a straight fucking line. Like, why you gotta make the fucking weird, like,
Yeah, it's
coming
like
in, like-
this, like in
Yeah.
the state. It's
isn't it
really
supposed to be
weird.
like just follow the fucking sun? Just make a straight line across.
Yes, it's
Time is fake anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just make a rule
But-
like you work when it's sunny out, and you don't when you don't.
Well, just don't fucking daylight savings time, dude, is stupid. Just it is what, dude. It just fucks everybody up. I've been like
Yeah.
fucked up for weeks, dude. Like, I'm like, it is not. Like, I look at the clock and I'm like, dude, it's fucking like 11 o'clock at night, but it's only like 10. You know what I mean? It's been fucking me. I'm sick of it.
I love it.
Yeah, they tried to get rid of it a few years ago. We were supposed to fall back and then
Yeah.
spring forward, and then that was it. Like we weren't supposed to move again, and Congress or somebody shot it down. I don't know. People that it doesn't matter to them what fucking time the sun comes up, I guess. So
Yeah, because they don't have to work. They don't have real jobs.
yeah. So
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, I remember that. They were like, oh, yeah, we're going to, like, every couple of years, they're like, yeah, we're just going to get rid of that stupid fucking thing.
yeah,
And
they
then,
dangle it.
they never
like,
do.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
it. And
Well, that's
then
the
they
thing
don't.
though, is like people
That's-
don't even realize like if all of like the population was like, we're just not doing that anymore. Guess what? We just wouldn't be doing it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do it different times at different countries too. Like, because I work with a lot of people over in the EU
What
and
is the
like
EU?
European Union.
Oh, that was old. See,
Yeah, but they don't change their clocks for like another 2 weeks or something, or like 3 weeks after us. So like that gets all fucked up. And then in certain states, like when I was in Arizona, there was just like, we're not participating. But then it fucks everything up. Like you're trying to watch TV and you're like, oh, half the year it's 3 hours difference, half the year it's like 2 hours difference. It's just fucking stupid. But we're not here to talk about the time. We're here to talk about, well, actually we are. We're here to talk about the Time Bomb Kustoms. So tell us a little bit about Time Bomb Kustoms. What is Time Bomb Kustoms? When did it start? What do you do?
I started 19 years ago. I'm
holy shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna be 47 on Friday. So I'm getting up there. I've been around
Oh,
19
happy
years.
birthday. This is
Yeah.
dropping on Friday. Happy
Oh,
birthday.
cool. So I'll be 47. I started out just I was working in a factory and I just needed something to do other than play video games. And I started pinstriping.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it was literally just, and I pinstriped for a long time and drove all over the country doing, hot rod shows and chopper shows and stuff, just pinstriping and doing, like Roth style art and a lot of shift knobs and cutouts and things like that. And, once I got kind of bored with that, I was like, I got the bright idea. I wanted to learn how to paint. And I don't know, I still don't know if it was a smart idea, but it was an idea. And started out like with a little Pache airbrush and one of those little compressors that you just like plug in and it constantly runs. And would do like little panels and then started making bigger panels and bigger panels. And then started painting helmets and painting tanks, and now here we are, 19, almost 20 years later, and still doing it. So it's frustrating. It can be very frustrating, and but it can be rewarding all at the same time.
Did
So
you I guess like did you 19 years ago, did you start out the gate like I'm Time Bomb Customs and I'm gonna do this to, or did the company come later after you were started in paint?
the company came later, and it came because like I was just doing it on the side and just like having, doing shit for friends. And I think I did like maybe one or two little local shows or something on the weekends because, I was working at a factory. And then the place I worked didn't like for people to quit. They would fire you
Hmm,
if they found out you were looking for another job. And they
cool.
found out I was looking for another job. So I was there 10 years almost to the day. And I was quality control. Somebody walked up to me and they were like, "Hey, everything that ran off this press, because it was injection molding, they're like, everything that came off this press last night was bad." And I looked at it and I was like, "I didn't QC that part last night. I'm going on vacation." I clocked out, said, "See you guys in 2 weeks." They called me at home and fired me for insubordination.
Dude, what the fuck? What
Yeah.
kind of company was this? I mean, what were you
It was
making?
injection molding. So like they did plastic injection molding. We did a lot of computer parts, and I couldn't look at anything plastic for years. I would just like pick it apart. And so like they did a lot of computer parts for Dell and things like that. We made like the cash drawers that go in ATM machines. We made those, refrigerator pans, and then by the time I left, we were actually in automotive stuff too. And so I literally was like, well, I know how to do this. I know I can make some money at it, and just started doing shows and worked little jobs off and on throughout the years or whatever. But for the most part, probably say out of 19 of those years, at least 10 of them were spent solely self-employed.
Oh, no
So,
shit.
yeah, it can get frustrating, like, you sweat bullets every month, and, as things just keep getting more and more expensive to do, you gotta make adjustments and sacrifices and things like that, but for the most part, it's pretty cool. Like, I go to work all day and get to make things and hang out with a cat. So, because I've got, 4 at the house and 1 at the shop, because evidently I like cats. And, yeah, just hang out with the cat and paint stuff, and that's about it.
So you have a separate shop that's separate from your house. Is it,
Yes.
I guess, how big is your shop?
My shop's 1,500 square feet.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's big. It don't need to be that big, but, like, I live in a super small town, and, the rent's cheap. It's not a bad building. Nobody bothers me. So, like, most of the time, like, every I can probably count on one hand the number of times in the years someone has actually walked in the shop. Because
Mhm.
and here lately, there's a detail shop behind me. People, for whatever reason, think I'm the detail shop, even though my front windows are literally lettered to say Time Bomb Kustoms, chopper paint, molding, pinstriping, all that. They'll just walk right past the windows and come in and be like, "Hey, I want you to detail my car." And I'm like, "It's behind me, man."
No
Like,
shit.
it's, I'm sorry you can't read the doors, but or the
How
windows.
how long have you had that shop for?
I've been in that place for 7 years.
7
Um,
years.
when I moved to 10 years ago, I moved to Bloomington from New Albany. And, I came up here because the girl I was with up until a couple years ago, she was going to college, so I moved up here with her, and since I've moved up here in 3 years, I've had 3 or 10 years, I've had 3 shops.
Oh, shit.
I've had to move twice, but this one I've been in for 7, and unless he sells the building, I don't see me going anywhere.
Did you start off, like, just in your garage, or did you or, like, in your kitchen, or where did you start off?
Started out in my mom's laundry room.
Fuck.
Damn.
Like, my mom's laundry room at her house, uh, has got, like, the washer and dryers in there, and then there's a counter with cabinets, and they were perfect, and now they got paint and shit all over them. But, yeah, I literally started just, in my mo like, pinstriping in the laundry room at my mom's house, and, before I could even spray flake, before I had a way to spray flake, I figured out you could mix, metal flake into bar resin and pour it over a panel, and then when it cured, you could scuff it with Scotch-Brite pad, you could tape it out, take an airbrush, spray panels, and then you could resin it again. And, I mean, it looked like it was, 10 miles deep because it was. And, so that's what I did before I even, like, got into helmets and tanks and stuff. Just, like, I would make, like, little panels when I started painting, and that's what I practiced on.
No shit. So, like, a panel is you would just get, like, a piece of metal, like a square rectangle piece of metal, and then, resin, flake, pinstripe, and then resin on top?
Yeah, basically, or a lot of times I go to Hobby Lobby and get, like, those, or Michael's or something, and get those artist panels, like the gessoed, whatever, artist panels, and, I'd just, like, if I was gonna silver flake them, 'em, I'd spray paint them silver first, and then just mix a shitload of flake in, so that whenever you pour it, like, it was just a solid bed of flake, and then once it
What are those panels made out of? They're gessoed, are they made of metal?
they're basically MDF. They're like an MDF
Oh,
almost.
I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're like the little thin panels, and they have them standing up in the aisles. Yeah, they're real good to use, and they're cheap.
Yeah.
So, Well, they used to be anyway. I don't know what they are anymore. Nothing's cheap anymore.
Yeah, no, I
So
was just thinking about like the price of metal, and I was just like, "There's no way you're fucking with like a sheet of metal." I actually just picked some up to finish my seat pan, and I was just like, "Dude, what the fuck, dude?"
oh, go buy paint. Go you want to shit yourself? Go buy paint. It's I'm paying. I use a lot of PPG because the local place here is a PPG jobber, so I can just go 30 minutes up the road and get stuff, and I can get $150 a quart black, but I'm going to use twice as much of it. So my black is up to $250 a quart.
Wow.
And guess what color
250.
everybody wants?
Wow.
Black.
That's a lot of motherfucking loot, dude, for a quart
Yeah.
of paint.
Yeah. For a quart of paint. Like, go buy red. Red's even worse. Reds, purples. It's like, it's insane. I had some I had a half a quart of Tangelo Pearl made the other day, which is an orange. And it was like $150 or something for a half quart. So
Jesus.
yeah, it was because of all the pearls and stuff in it.
Yeah, that's true too. It's like you're not just spraying it with black. You have to
No.
have pearls and flake and fucking hardener and fucking clear.
Reducer
Like,
and
yeah,
well, I
that's
mean,
fucking
think about
crazy,
it. So
dude.
like, like my reducer is like $100 a gallon and it's in everything. It's in the primer, it's in the base, it's in the clear, it's in, the inner coat for the carriers and like it's in everything. So a gallon of reducer doesn't and everybody's always like when you tell them how much stuff costs, they're always like, "Yeah, but how much like how many motorcycle tanks can you get out of that quart or gallon or whatever?" And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like it's I still got to go buy it again.
Right.
And it sneaks up on you. Like one day you'll grab the can and go, "Fuck, I'm out." And then you
Yeah,
got to go buy stuff. So,
true. Yeah, I mean, just the cost of everything. Because I mean, just if you want to get a tank to paint,
oh
that's gone
yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, it's there, and it blows my mind that there's a lot of really good dudes out there and girls, like, both sides that are painting and they're really good at what they do. And I see them and they're like, "Oh, $700 for this tank shipped." And I'm like, "Well, I know you paid 200 almost 200 for the tank.
yeah,
And then, your filler and all your material like, you're not making money."
yeah,
Like, I'm all for, like, people trying to get their name out there or whatever, but man, like, if you're good, charge like you're good. Like, and I've even DM'd a few guys and I'm like, "Man, you're way too good to be giving your stuff away this cheap." Like, like fully molded tanks with like round stock molded into them and candies and fades and pearls and
What's like a
like, you can see a reflection in it and they're like $800. And I'm like, dude, that's like a 1600 $1,600 tank all day long.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's what I was gonna say is what is like what's a fair price to do a chopper tank and a fender from somebody that's like good?
if you send me a brand new bare metal tank and fender, it's $1,600 out the,
Chopper.
and that's any way you want.
That's a
That's
chopper tank. That's
flake,
not like split tanks from a fucking
right?
right,
Chopper,
yeah.
split tanks are obviously more because you're painting, you're basically painting two chopper tanks. But like, like say somebody sends me a Frisco Wassel tank and like a 6-inch Manta Ray fender from Lowbrow, like it's $1,300, and that's flaked, candied, pearled, or aged, or that's however you want it. Like it's $1,300 or $1,600. So it's basically 13 for the tank, and then the fender, I'm there, so I just charge $300 to do the fender.
that's very. What if? I mean, do you even fuck with like repainting shit? Like, if someone comes with a beat ass old tank, like, will you do the body work on it and fucking restore it, or are you just like, give me some fresh shit?
I prefer fresh stuff. If somebody's
Yeah.
got a tank they're dead set on, I'll tell them to go get it sandblasted first
Right.
and get it down to bare metal. That way I know everything that's under that paint. That way, if something goes haywire in there, and it does, it's chemistry, shit happens. Uh, I can at least go, okay, this is where it messed up. So I know how to fix it. So like the other day, I painted a helmet for a guy the other day. You might have seen it. It was that bit weld that I made look old and aged. I don't know why. I scuffed it correctly. It did everything right. I put all my color on it. It looked good. And when I sprayed Intercoat over it before I aged it, like everything just ran. It looked like a candle melted down the side of it. And I was like, huh, well, can't. So like I told him, like I sent him pictures. I was like, hey, dude, this fucked up. And he's like, so what do we do? I was like, well, I'm just going to sand it down and repaint it. And that's what it is. I sanded it all down and didn't charge him anymore because something I did messed up. And, I just wet sanded it all down and got it slick. And then I buried it. Like I blocked all the color out with gray primer, and then just, started over.
Yeah.
And he was cool with it. So,
Did you end up figuring out
yeah.
what it was?
No, I still don't know what it was. Second time around, everything worked fine.
No shit.
So, yeah, it was just one of those weird things that happened, and, so you just never can tell. Like, I could have not waited long enough. I don't know, between things. I could have got in a hurry. It happens,
And it was the same paint, right? I mean, like you took the paint off and you did the same thing.
yeah,
The same
exact
way you
same
always do,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. That must be infuriating.
Oh, it
Dude.
was like,
Yeah.
well, now I like before, like, in my 20s, I probably would have like thrown something or some shit. But now I'm like pushing 50 and I walked in the booth and saw it and just went, huh, well, I gotta do that again. So,
Yeah.
like, I can't chuck the dude's helmet across the shop. So,
That'd just be more expensive, more
yeah,
time,
they're
more
like,
money.
I kind of owe you a helmet now. So,
Yeah, something fucked up. I got mad and I smashed your helmet.
yeah.
How's that whole the aging process work? Is that a lot of work to make it look like that?
It's a lot of work.
Because like I've seen a couple different styles. We have like that like scuffed up, worn patina that you can tell is
Yeah.
patina. Then there's like that crackle shit that's like getting super popular now.
Yeah.
So like, what's the difference between those processes?
It's a lot of work to get it to look like, aging stuff is aging stuff. Like,
Right.
you can age stuff and like there's some you can look at and you're like, yeah, that was done a week ago. And then there's stuff like, there's a few other guys out there doing it, and the way I do it, like it looks like it got found in a barn.
Right.
And the main thing is just like with the cracking is paying it in the rust and all that. It's paying attention to where it would actually where things would actually crack,
Yeah.
where they would rust, where they would wear, like not just random spots, like, around the tunnel, around your tabs, around the gas cap, around the petcock, like, and then, I think I've been fortunate that like going to so many van shows and truck-ins, like at almost 50, I'm one of the young guys there. Like, all of these dudes have been around since the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of them still have the vans that they had in the 70s.
That's
So when you see one at a show and it's old lacquer paint, like you can walk up to it and you can see like how everything ages and cracks from the heating up and
That old
cooling down
lacquer
and heat.
paint was fucking pretty tough shit,
Yeah.
man. That shit like
Yeah,
hard
and
as like glass.
And it was the weather changes that cracks everything.
Yeah.
So like the heating up and the cooling down, it would, it would start stretching and shrinking the clear, and that's what would cause your cracks. And like the best example I have is there's this there's this old man from Illinois that's got a 74 Econoline like mine. Um, it's brown, and it's called the Ballroom Blitz, and he's had this since 1974. And it's got like it's all airbrushed with murals, like it's got a huge disco ball on it. It says Ballroom Blitz down the side. And from a distance, it looks like just a really like it, it looks cleanish. I mean, it's still a clean van, but you can't see all the age and cracks and everything. You get right up on it, and it's all like just little bitty fine spider webs, little fine spider cracks through the whole thing. It's not those big, wide, deep cracks that some people do. And when I started seeing that and I started looking at things like that, I was like, so that's how my age stuff should look. It shouldn't look like I mixed something wrong to make it do that. Because I've got some earlier ones that are like little wide and deep. But as I went on, I was like, yeah, the little spider tracks. Like, I mean, like David's bike, like that used future bike that I painted. Um, he come to pick it up and he was just like, holy shit, this like it looks like it was painted in 1970. So, and that's what I want. And then when I went to Glory Days last year, I didn't expect to vend, and I ended up vending. So like I got a hold of people that I like still had their raffle tanks because I hadn't shipped them yet. I was like, hey, can I hang on to these for like another 2 weeks so I can take them to Glory Days and at least have something on my table? And they were all aged, and they was like, they was old dudes that had been around since the 60s and 70s or whatever that were walking up, and they're like, where'd you find these tanks? Like, these things are cool. And I was like, oh, I just painted those like 2 weeks ago. And they legit thought they were like old barn find tanks.
Oh shit.
So that's pretty cool. And I fucked with some people on Reddit too. I posted one on Reddit. I was like, found this chopper tank the other day, and you could tell who read past the title. And because I was like in the description, I was like, just kidding, I actually just did this. And like there's people was like, motherfucker, you clickbaited us. Like, we thought that was a real old tank. And so it was that's one of the biggest compliments to me, is when people can't tell that I painted.
Right.
Like they think
So
it's
that
a real
must have
tank.
been like a trial and error process, right? To kind of figure out, because I've done like a patina tank, and I actually rusted it and tried to like seal it in, and the rust just, you can't stop that shit from
No.
coming through. You know what I mean? So you found a way to paint something that looks exactly like rust.
Yeah, basically, like I figured out how to make the rust spots, but they're not rust. So it's I'm probably like, I've probably got cancer from it, to be honest. But I mean, between that and working 10 years in a plastics plant, I probably don't have much longer.
Yeah. I mean, we're all going to get cancer at some point. It's just a matter
Yeah, I
of when.
mean, according to California, everything gives you cancer. So
Oh yeah, everybody in California has cancer.
yeah, I mean, you just go into California, you have cancer. So, like, I told that his name Killspeed Scum Cult. Is that right? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like him and I are pretty cool. And he called me and he's like, "Hey, how do you do that?" And I told him, and he was just like, "Man, the closest place I can find the clear coat you told me to use is like Nevada. Like, you can't even buy it in California."
Wow.
So, and that's the thing. Like, people ask me, and I'm like, well, I mean, I could tell you, but what are the odds of you being able to find what I use in your part of the country? Like, I'm middle of nowhere, Indiana. We don't give a shit, man. Like, it doesn't matter to anybody out here, but you go to bigger towns and bigger cities, like, you may not be able to buy it. So,
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's kind of like, like in California, you can't even have a plastic straw. You just drink out
yeah,
of
I
a fucking
mean,
paper
plastic
straw.
bags, nothing. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did away with the plastic straws, and they do paper straws wrapped in plastic.
yeah.
Dude, I fucking hate paper straws. What a
so
fucking
stupid.
terrible
So
idea. That's
stupid.
such a bad idea.
So stupid.
There's got to be something better than that.
Yeah, plastic.
Well, yeah,
Metal.
I mean, like,
Metal.
between plastic and paper, like, who did that? Like, paper gets wet and it gets all gross and you're going to stick it in your mouth? Who's the fucking genius that came up with that fucking... That's so stupid. I won't do it.
Some
If
dude
someone
that
puts
started
a
his
paper...
morning with eating avocado toast. That's who came up with that.
I mentioned this earlier, like in the episode, but just it's I don't know anybody else, and I try to follow all the painters, everybody that's in like the chopper scene, everybody's doing whatever. I don't know anybody else that's doing as many tanks as you. I think I saw that last year you did 54
Yeah,
tanks.
Damn.
54.
That's more than one a week.
Yeah, because when I do the raffles, a lot of times I do the doubles. So I'm painting an average of 4 tanks a month and doing raffles every 2 weeks because I can't, it's
Wild.
my only job. I can't sit around and wait and hope people like commission me to do stuff. I've got to have X amount of dollars every month just to live off of. And, so, I mean, I got 5 cats to feed, man, plus myself. And, thankfully I live in a fairly, affordable part of the state. If I lived 30 minutes up the road, I'd be screwed. And, so yeah, it was 54 tanks, and that's not counting the rolling trays and, whatever else I painted last year. That was just motorcycle tanks.
That's fucking crazy. So, but you're doing, so you do the raffles, and that's like your sustainable income. Like you can kind of rely on that as, like, instead of waiting for someone to commission you, you just make a badass tank, put it out there, sell it to raffle, and then you kind of got like,
Yeah.
I guess you must have the following for that. Is it just on Instagram, or do you put it out like elsewhere, or
I mean,
you just like an Instagram?
I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck it's called now. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Reddit, but the raffles only go on my Insta.
On Instagram.
But now Instagram is like, I don't know what's going on. I cannot go live right. And I have no infractions against me, nothing. Like I'll hit live and it'll count down 3, 2, and then stop. So I've had to start a backup account now just so I can do my live videos from the backup account. So
fucked.
like, yeah, Instagram's like, I hit 21,000 followers a few weeks ago, and I'll look at because it's a business account. I can look at like my stats and all that. And I'll look at it and it'll say like how many accounts out of, who follows me saw it. Maybe 2,000 people will see things. And it's weird. So the way they've got it set up now, like, and I'll die on this hill. If you see something, especially from an artist, not just from me, I don't care if it's another painter, a tattooer, somebody that does pencil sketches. Like, if you follow them and you see their artwork, it takes 2 seconds, like it, and if anything, drop an emoji and save it. Because all of those click the algorithms and they start showing up in other people's things.
Mhm.
And you can tell when it happens. So like I'll look at something and be like, oh, I got 700 likes and it's got like 50 shares and things like that. And then you can see how your numbers go up as people do things. So like I said, I'll die on this hill. Like I'll preach it till the day I die. Like if you follow somebody, like if you see something you think it's cool, just like it, save it, share it, do something. As long as you interact with it, it helps that person. And even if you don't intend to buy something or buy into a raffle or whatever, it may show it to someone who will.
Yeah.
And support doesn't always cost money.
Yeah.
It's free. It's right there. So it's not
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and I try to do that too because, like, at least a like. I mean, you just hit the little fucking heart thing and as you're scrolling, like, let them know because it's important to people, Like, I don't really get into, like, how many followers people have and shit like that, like, but I assume especially, like, makers, people that are building stuff, people that are making things, they're making art and shit. Social media is their thing, man. I mean, that's how you make money.
It's all
They're
we
not
got.
like that's your reach, And it's like, yeah, just a like, just a share, throw it on your story or whatever. Uh, I don't know how the fucking algorithms work and shit. I'm sure it helps when people actually
Oh,
interact
it
with shit.
definitely
Oh
does.
yeah. And then aside from that, it's just other people that you're friends with, they're probably into the same shit. So share it out so they can be like, oh, I don't follow that guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's fucking sick, dude. I mean, it's fucked up that who knows what Instagram's up to, Obviously, it's like a necessary evil. You need it because that's how you can reach 21,000 people is through Instagram, You're not gonna have that same reach in a small town in Indiana, That's the great fucking equilibrium or whatever. Uh, but they fuck with people, Like, they don't have your best interest in mind,
Oh,
And they
100%.
they can fucking shadow ban you. They can fucking cancel your account at any fucking time. I got canceled on Instagram and they didn't fucking tell me why. They were just like, you're gone.
Oh, I've been nailed at least 5 or 6 times because God forbid you see, a microscopic nipple on a motorcycle tank, so it'll get pulled and I'll get flagged and it'll all just and then I can't do something for a while. But like right now, like I looked and I have no infractions against me at all. And it's just
Mhm.
weird how it's all like changed. Like from the time it was just owned by Instagram,
Yeah.
it was just some dudes that made an app. And then as soon as they sold it to Facebook,
It's a
it went
wrap.
from here and then just started going down. I miss
Yep.
MySpace. Like I'm that old.
For
I
real, you
miss
could do whatever the
MySpace.
fuck you wanted on
Like, I
MySpace,
wonder what
bro.
Tom's
Yeah.
doing these days,
You had your own
Yeah.
theme music on MySpace. Remember that
Yeah.
when people click on your page and play whatever song you wanted and shit?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, dude, that's how people knew what you were about,
Yeah.
and what kind of mood you were in.
And you could change your top
Yo,
friends,
MySpace
so,
was
like,
the
you could
shit.
tell, like, who you were mad
Yeah.
at and shit, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
I
I
love
I
like
didn't
this
really get,
person."
I only I had MySpace just to like, I was in a long distance relationship with my now wife.
Oh shit.
And I didn't have any
gangster.
social media. Yeah, dude. But she had MySpace, and I started a MySpace page. I followed like her and her sister, so I had like 2 friends on there. But I still updated
You
it
didn't
and
have
shit.
Tom as a friend?
I had 3 friends then. Yeah,
I
you
was say
you can't
everybody had
not
Tom
have
as a
Tom
friend.
as a friend, right?
Fuck yeah.
Like, yeah, there's the thing, like, MySpace, you at least had Tom, like,
I love when I see
uh
I'll see somebody on Instagram and like their profile picture will be Tom, and I'm like, yes, they're holding on.
Yeah, dude, that guy cleaned up, man. He sold that thing for big
Oh,
money.
stupid money.
Well, the
Good for
people who
Tom.
started
Yeah,
Instagram sold it to Facebook for a ridiculous amount of money. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
insane how much they got, so, I mean, you can't blame them. Like, they cashed in, but, it kinda screwed the rest of us, so and it was weird,
Yeah.
like, because I remember when it was just MySpace, and then, then Facebook, and then Instagram, and it was really weird, like, you used to go to shows,
You know,
and
the
it
funny
like
thing too is like the way it changes. Like I remember with MySpace, there people on your MySpace were like your people, like people you
Yeah,
knew in real life. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Now it's like people are just friends with everybody.
yeah, it's weird because like, I remember, like, before social media was huge, like, you used to go to shows, and when I first started, like, I think I was at Lone Star Roundup in Texas, and, like, some girl was looking at stuff in my booth, and she was like, "Oh," told her boyfriend, she's like, "Oh, I really like this." And he legit looked at my banner and looked at it, and he goes, "I've never seen that guy in a magazine. I'm not buying anything from him."
Wow.
cool.
And I was like, "Well, cool." And now it's like, now, print's basically dead.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, how many followers do they have on Instagram?
Yeah.
And, oh, I've seen your stuff on Instagram. Not,
Yeah.
oh, I saw you in such and such magazine. So
you said you went out to Glory Days. You're going down to Texas. What shows are you going to? I mean,
I don't
like,
do
those are pretty
anything.
far.
I
Yeah.
don't do anything anymore. Like, I think Glory Days last year was the first show other than van stuff.
Are you going to
Because I
Van
don't
Nationals in
work van
Boston?
stuff. I just go to van stuff and like hang out and party. But like actually vending a show and going, Glory Days was the first one I'd been to over 5 years. Like probably 7 or 8 years. And
I'm trying to get on that level.
yeah, it's like I just like I go to work, I come home, I hang out with my cats, hang out with my girl. Like, my girl's got a kid, so like I hang out with him and, try to teach him that there's, stuff out there other than Fortnite. And, I'm like, hey, look at this. And I show him like racing and art and, like Dave Shutton's massive fucking show car collection and things like that. So it's as I got older, my priorities changed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Do you say Van Nats is in Boston this year?
Yeah.
no, it's
That's
in
fucking wild.
I thought it was in
it's
Boston.
in Massachusetts, but it's not in Boston. It's in somewhere else in Massachusetts. I can't remember where, but it's not Boston.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was in Colorado last year. I drove out to that one from Indiana. So drove a 74 Econoline with manual brakes and 3-speed automatic and no air conditioning to Colorado in July.
Nice.
And got out there and it was
That's
cold.
the that's that yellow van you have, yeah?
Orange. Yeah, it's orange.
Oh, it's
Which is-
orange. Okay.
Yeah, it's orange. It's and it's not even at the shop now. It's up in Muncie, about 3 hours away. My buddy Jeff is putting a fiberglass gull wing door on it. And so it won't have the slider
Oh,
door
shit.
anymore. It'll have a gull
Sick.
wing. And whoever owned that van before me thought it was a good idea to put 4 sunroofs in it. And I'm getting 2 of those closed up. So
Yeah, when people put
and then as soon
sunroofs
as I
in
get it
vans,
back,
guaranteed they leak.
as soon as I get it back, I got to start rebuilding the interior because my first van show is at the end of April.
Guys,
So I've got about a month to build
I
it.
think I think I might be colorblind because I'm looking at the van on Instagram. It looks yellow to me.
It's a weird orange. It's I
Is it
posted
like
some.
borderline yellow orange? I need a second opinion.
It's
Put a
like
picture up.
it's almost Chevy orange.
Did my fucking like retinas disconnect from my brain
Rhino,
or
put
something?
a picture up. Pull it. Can you drop a picture in right now? No.
It's yeah, it's orange and orange with black interior, black and orange interior. And,
Jesus Christ! That's orange.
Yeah.
I think I might be having a stroke then.
Do you smell toast? I mean,
Damn,
some
dude,
people
that
think
thing's-
it's red. So
What year did you say it was?
It's a 74. It's
A 74.
the last year for that body style. After that, they
shit.
went to the big nose Econoline.
Oh, dude.
So
Rhino,
I'm so
which
sick.
picture are you looking at?
The one with the van,
Yeah, I know, but which one?
the first one in the feed.
Everyone that I see, you could clearly tell it's Chevy orange.
you may
Dude,
be
I'm-
having a stroke.
Like clear
like
as
maybe-
day.
Do you guys remember that dress that some people saw it was like white, some people saw it was
Nah,
like
Chevy
fucking
orange, just
gold
Chevy
or some
orange.
shit?
Wait, what color's the strap on your hat right now?
That's yellow.
Okay, so that's what you see?
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, that's
It's not that yellow. The van looks like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
fucking
this is
figure
like
this out.
this is like a deep orange too.
No, dude, it's like
yeah.
it's a yellowish. Would you call it a yellowish orange?
Not even close.
No, it's orange. It's
not even
pretty close
close.
to Chevy orange.
What the fuck? Maybe
Yeah,
okay,
that's
maybe it's my monitor.
deep orange, bro.
Maybe it's my monitor. Yeah, you got to check the levels on my monitor.
Hold on, look. If I show
Yeah.
you on my phone,
Yeah, she's orange.
Okay. All right. That looks more orange.
that's fucking orange.
That looks
Yeah,
more
it's fucking
orange
orange.
than what I was looking at. So maybe my eyes are okay.
Yeah, there's some people that think it's red for some reason
It
too.
has
I
that like
don't.
that red orange look.
Yeah. It's like I posted a picture of it in a van group on Facebook. Got one of those like million color LED kits under it so I can change the color and whatever. And I, for whatever reason, I always set them to green. And the picture I posted was at night, and somebody was like, "Well, why don't you run red ones like to match the van?" I was like, "Well, because one, the van's not red, and two, I like green, and three, if you drive down the highway with red lights under your car, they're gonna pull you over. Like red, blue, and white, like they're gonna pull you over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they don't like that."
Yeah, green can't be confused. So I guess, were you a van guy or a motorcycle guy first? How'd you get into like vans and motorcycles?
I was an art nerd, is all I was, and I got into painting bikes like I liked bikes, and my KZ that I had or that I have, uh, I bought it from a friend years ago, and he hardtailed it and everything, and about 10 years ago, it was finished, like a road bikes, and I built the CB750 and painted it, and, I sold it and the KZ to about 2 years ago, and, then, the KZ I got back last year. I've owned that bike 3 times now, so I
Fuck.
guess, like, I can never get rid of it, and,
Well, you
in
kept
the
on
Hon
buying it back?
well, so the first time I sold it, my ex was like, "Well, you're building the Honda, you can't have like, you don't need 2 motorcycles." So I sold it, and it went to Colorado.
That's why
The
she's your ex.
well, there's a lot
Can't have 2
to that.
motorcycles.
You're like,
We're
get
not gonna
out of here.
open that rant. Um, but, be a good boy. But, um, so it went to Colorado, and that guy traded it for guns. And then that guy traded it for guns. And then that guy moved to New York, and I found out it was for sale. So I got a hold of him. I was like, "Hey man, I want my bike." And he was like, "Absolutely. This bike doesn't like anybody but you." He's like, "We like between the 3 of us that have owned it, we maybe ridden it 100 miles. Like it does not run right for any of us." And he's like, "It actually doesn't run right now." And I was like, "Shit." So I met him in Pittsburgh and I bought it back. And then 2 years and it just sat because I had my CB750. And, 2 years ago, when my now ex just out of nowhere left and I didn't know what I was gonna do for money, I panicked and sold all my bikes. The Honda went to California. Dude loves it, rides shit out of it. And my friend Dan up in Indianapolis bought the KZ from me, got it running, and he had it for about a year. And when we went to Glory Days last year and we took the bike that David bought that was yellow then, we took it and the KZ. And when we were loading up, heading home, Dan was like, this will always be your motorcycle, right? And I was like, well, it's yours now. You gave me money for it. And he was like, yeah, but it's like everybody sees it. They're like, oh, that's Jason's bike. And I was like, I mean, I guess. And he handed me the key. He put the key in my hand. He goes, you owe me a paint job. You can have your bike.
Fuck yeah,
So he
Damn.
bought it
That's
from
a
me, got
solid
it
fucking
running,
dude.
and then just gave it back to me and was like, you owe me a paint job. So I've got it back now. And and I'm going to use
That's
it
fucking awesome.
whenever everybody rolls into town for the eclipse and you can't get nowhere in the car. Like that's how I'm going to get back and forth to the shop. But it's, yeah, I guess I can just never sell that bike again because it just My mom was even like, "What are you gonna do with it?" I said, "I guess keep the fucking thing because it keeps coming back."
Can't get
Like
rid of it.
Christine or something, only it's not killing people.
No shit.
Hmm.
Dude, that's fucking sick. Dude, trading it for guns
Twice.
twice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I've sold a lot of bikes like over the years, you know, like I've bought a lot and sold a lot. And I'm always taken aback like when someone offers a trade, you know, because I'll always be like, I'm always open to trades. So I'm always like,
Oh yeah, I'm
you
a
know,
big
like
barter guy.
whatever, OBO, open to trades, because someone might have something cool that I want, you know, like I don't really specify. But dude, like I'd say like 8 times out of 10, motherfuckers are offering me guns.
Damn, nobody ever offers me guns.
Yeah.
They
I've
probably do a
actually like
background
made
check.
I've never actually made a deal, but I've actually like I've never gotten a gun for a motorcycle. But I've had some weird offers, dude. There was like some dude that had like a World War One fucking like some fucking weird ass old 100-year-old gun or some shit. And I was like, I don't think I'm interested in that, but like I want guns that I can actually shoot. I don't want to like a fucking gun made out of wood from World War One.
I had a dude when I just sold a Amen Savior roller, like rolling, like took the motor and everything out of it. And I think it was somebody's old show bike because it was all molded and painted with pearl. Like it was like everything from the Amen catalog in the 70s and like pearl paint with fades. It was a cool bike. And whenever, but it just like Amen Savior just wasn't for me, like the springs in the back. So I pulled the motor and the pipes and the oil bag from it and the rear invader and sold and put a stock CB750 wheel on the back. I was like, "Hey, I got this roller for sale." And dude on Facebook offered me like just sent me a picture of like stereo speakers, like car stereo speakers. And I just messaged back. I was like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "Oh, I'm offering you these for your roller." And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with car speakers, man? Like,
Got these 6 6x9s.
and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're really good." I'm like, "I'm sure they are, but like, I drive a '74 Econoline with, no, like, I mean, it's got two little 6-inch speakers in it and a 2022 Ford pickup truck. Like, I don't need car speakers, man."
Yeah.
So
It never hurts to ask, but like, dude, I get weird fucking people are like, "Hey, you want to trade me for this like turbo or like, you know, like just a riding lawnmower?" And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I throw shit out
what
there
kind of
if
riding
people ask.
lawnmower? Because
I actually
like,
I traded. I
is
think I
zero
traded.
turn, we might talk. Like,
Yeah, for
Dude,
sure.
well, so let me tell you about this lawnmower because I was actually just going to say that I've actually traded for a riding lawnmower before, and it was I think it was a zero turn. It was a weird one. I forget the name of it. It was like some Canadian company. Just imagine like a regular riding lawnmower, but all 4 wheels turned.
oh shit.
What the fuck?
Actually
Yeah,
sounds
dude.
pretty awesome.
It was fucking awesome. And I ended up giving it to my dad. But yeah, that thing was sick, dude. It was just like it wasn't like one of the weird ones with like the little poles and shit. It was
You
just a
didn't like
regular
do this
tractor
with
and
it.
all 4 wheels fucking turned. It was fucking awesome. But so the other thing I wanted to ask you too is so I mean, you do a lot of your style with painting is kind of all over the map because you do the patinas, you do like the real nice fucking, you do the image transfers, you do like I've seen all sorts with the like you do the paneling, the smoky fucking ones. I guess how would you characterize like your style? Do you just is it just like anything chopper? Because I've seen like fucking psychedelic shit or I mean, you just do whatever you want, right? Because you're not most of it is just stuff that you're coming up with, right? Because
Yeah,
you're just
it's just kind of what I want to do that day. Like, obviously you put a naked lady on a tank, it's gonna sell quicker. Um, and I'm actually to the point now where I never thought I'd say this, but I'm burnt out on them. Like, I mean, you can because there's only so many you can do, and I'm real weird about my images. Like I'm kind of picky about them. Like I'm not gonna put like some chick spread eagle and like super
Tasteful.
graphics. Yeah, tasteful nudes. So like a lot like rarely use anything older, like newer than the 80s because they've got to have like full bush or I don't want to put it on there. And but like you can only do so many like that. So like image transfers in general, like I love it when someone is like, hey, I want like freak dots and like panels and or just like when I do the colors that just overlap each other. I really like doing that. So like yeah, just the weirder and crazier I can get with it, the better. Like you want to get a good paint job for me, tell me what colors you want, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and then just leave me alone and let me do it.
Hmm.
So like because the more you put me in a box, like the more like I'm like with David's bike, like at first it was gonna be brown. And I didn't want to paint that bike brown. Like every day I'd go in and look at it and work on it and be like, "I wanna paint this." And like, yeah, I mean, it was gonna be aged and I would have made it look cool, but I was just like in my brain, I was looking at it and I was like, man, this thing don't need to be brown.
Dude,
And so I messaged him
brown
and
bikes.
I was like, I like brown a lot, but not for that bike. And I was just like,
Dude,
man, this thing
it
already looks like a
probably
fucking
not for any
spaceship.
bike. I remember one of my first bikes, like I when I first got into motorcycles, and I think it was the CB 750 I was painting, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do something different. Like all bikes are like flat black or whatever. Like when you first start getting into bikes, everything's flat black because that's the easy, forgiving way to paint a tank or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna do mine brown, and I got like some fucking Rust-Oleum, and I spray painted the tank, and I was like, this literally looks like a log of shit.
I've got a brown in the shop that is the most beautiful brown I've ever seen
Dude,
in
I'll
my
tell you what
life.
I've always wanted to do or have something painted, UPS brown with cream accents.
Okay.
And then with like a touch of orange, like some orange like zest. You know what I mean? I think that would look
I
sick.
did a I did a tank a year or so ago for tank and fender. It was all aged and everything for a it was one of the dish tanks, and I did it for a tattoo artist in Ohio, and it was like a cream color, and then in the indentions on the side of the dish parts on the side of the tank, it was, House of Color Cocoa Pearl brown, and then it had Cocoa Pearl brown scallops on the tank. It actually it looks pretty, and I aged it and everything. It looks pretty cool. Like that's the color of brown I like, or just candy root beer. Candy root beer is
Mm,
gorgeous.
Mm.
yeah.
And but yeah, like I don't mind brown. Like I actually like kind of like brown a little bit, but you just don't like a lot of people don't like it. Like cuz like, it's like me and gray. I hate gray cuz to me every time I see gray I think primer.
Oh, I love gray.
So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Like that
like that
avalanche gray
primer
color is my
gray only
favorite.
shining, and I'm like, "That just looks like primer to
Yeah,
me."
root beer brown with some depth, like with some flake. I used to have a helmet. I think it was a Biltwell helmet. It was like metallic root beer or whatever. That looked fucking dope. But just like flat Rust-Oleum on the tank
Yeah.
that's brown, that looks like shit. Literally.
And what's funny is Bitwell actually just started making that root beer brown, uh, in a Bonanza again, I think, in a 3/4.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's the one I had, and I remember they discontinued it. I had to like buy it off eBay or something,
Yeah, it's
but
back.
I loved it. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's a pretty color. I wish they'd bring back the silver flake, just the straight silver flake ones, because they were like painters loved them. We could buy them, Scotch Brite them, paint them, clear them, and they were done. Like we didn't have to metal flake anything. Because
That's
flaking
nice.
helmets is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So so I guess like you mostly do tanks, But what else? What else do you do? Helmets? You do what? I think you do gas caps too sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing like naked lady gas caps and
Oh, naked lady gas caps, like an image
yeah, I do
transfer.
like the image transfers on the gas caps on
Oh,
black
that's fucking
gas
awesome. I don't think I've seen that.
and rolling trays. I've done quite a few rolling trays for people. I'll buy like, the bigger zigzag stock, like zigzag rolling trays off Amazon and then just scuff them down, prime them, flake them. And they all like, it's a rolling tray. By the time you slap a 5x7, image on them, you ain't got a whole lot of room to do anything. So I'll just do like cobwebbing and some candy fades on them and clear them. And, rolling trays, tank fender oil bags, frames, just, I mean, basically whatever anybody will send me. So
Oh shit.
within reason.
I mean, are you you're doing commission work on that stuff too? Someone can send you a helmet or a gas cap or anything. You're open for commission work. In addition to like, if you just, I mean, full time, you can just work on whatever you want. You wake up, you want to make a helmet, you can do a helmet,
Yeah.
or you can
So
just buy a
like,
bunch of gas caps and do a bunch of gas caps.
I'll order like, 6 or 12 gas caps from Lowbrow and just get a bunch of images made and pop them on there and clear them. Helmets. I figured out basically how to get in touch with the factory that makes like the Beetle helmets, like those little super slim um helmets that they sell over in Japan. And I had to order nine. I had to order nine of them because that's how many fit in a box. And, so I ordered 9 of those, and I've been knocking those out just like I did one if you look at my stories on Instagram, I did an image transfer on one today, and it's the first time I've ever put an image transfer on a helmet.
Dude,
Like, honestly,
I
didn't
was
think
just
it
gonna
would
say,
work.
I don't think that I've seen that an
Yeah,
image transfer on a
it's
helmet.
in my
That's fucking cool.
stories. It's, I was always like, I always looked at them and I was like, "I think I can do this," but, like, Bitwells are like, you know, American helmets are super big. Like, you kinda look like a Spaceballs character with one on. And, but these are, like, super slim, like, I can put them like, whenever I first got one out of a box, I was like, "This looks like a fucking children's helmet." It's so small. And they're DOT approved, but, like, they're a little flatter on the sides because 'cause they're not as round as, like, a Bitwell or a Bell or a Simpson or something like that. So I had one today like, it was funny, so, like, think a week ago, a guy at my van club wanted me to metal flake his glove box door for him with, Roth Dangerous Blue flake, which is like an iridescent white flake. And, I mixed up way too much fucking flake. I don't know why I mixed up so much for something this, this big. And I was like, well, I'll cap it and use it in something else. Then when I cleared it, I did it again. I was like, I mixed up way too much fucking clear, and clear is way too expensive to throw. So I just grabbed a helmet real quick, scuffed it out, taped it up, flaked it, and then used the rest of the clear to bury it. And whenever I flaked it, I mixed another iridescent flake in it. So like and it was over black. So it got this cool, like, it shifts from like a purple to a blue to a teal. It's really weird. And it's kind of like chameleon if chameleon wasn't tacky and in metal flake. So then today I taped it out. It was just gonna do and put some black and stuff on it. I was like, I wonder if I can get an image to work on this. So I taped it out real quick on the side where I wanted it to be. And I was like, well, if it don't work, I'll just pull it off and no harm, no foul. And it fucking worked. Like it laid down like butter. I cleared it. So then tomorrow I'll go in, wet sand it all out. Then I'm gonna put some cream flames around it. But it's got like a 5x7 death dealer on the right side of it. And so I put it on the right side because that's what side would face like the sidewalk or if you were passing a car on the left or whatever.
So
And
why wouldn't it work on a helmet versus like like a tank? Like, what's the difference between a helmet and a tank?
The bit wells and things like that, the bigger helmets have got so much of a curve to them that the image can like wrinkle up on itself.
Oh,
And these
yeah.
are a little flatter on the sides. So when I put it on, and the way I do my image transfers, I found a way to do them that when I put them on, I can make them like really rubbery. Like they'll bend and flex more than just say a regular like than what it would without what I put on them.
Like a piece of paper.
And it makes it just made it form. I had the size right. It formed, and I was like, fuck it, it's there. So I just faded it in and cleared it. So I was super stoked on that. So it looks like I'm gonna be doing some naked lady helmets.
Fuck.
Because I
So if
got
you
5 more helmets I can paint.
So do you,
so like if you do an image transfer in a tank, you're looking for a tank that has like a flat top on it. It can't be like super rounded or it won't work or
well,
it'll
most tanks
wrinkle.
are like that though. Even the Wassels
Yeah,
and like
like, I
stuff
mean,
like
they're
that have
pretty
them like
flat.
semi-flat.
But, like, there's a dude down in Florida I've done 3 tanks for now, and all of them were just boom, boom, boom. I don't know what he's doing. But I'd never done one on the side of a Sportster tank before, and he was like, "Hey, I want this on the top, but I want this image, like, mirrored of each other. I want these images on the sides." And I was like, "Never done that before, but I guess I can get it to work." And damned if I didn't get it to work, because 2 of them he got had, like it was all Franzetta stuff, so, like, I had, like, a Franzetta on the top, and then I had some on the sides, and then his 3rd tank he got, he didn't know how old I was, and he was like, "Hey, I wanna get this from this movie, you've probably never seen it, because it was before your time. I'm sure it was before your time, but I want Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China." And I was like, "Dude, I'm almost 47 years old. I own that movie. I love that movie."
Your
And he was like,
birth
"Holy
year
sh—"
is in your Instagram. It's
Yeah, like,
TBK 1977.
and he was like, "Holy shit, I didn't know you were that old." And, so, like,
That's nice of
I
him to
did
say, by the way.
yeah. He wanted, so I did, like, space stuff all on the sides and the top, and then there's a big picture of Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China on the top, and then I aged the whole thing. And
Sick.
that's my favorite tank I've done this year so far.
So do you
Oh,
still
shit.
mix in some pinstriping, or you just like kind of gotten away from that?
I physically cannot pinstripe. It,
Really?
yeah, from all the years of working in a factory, and I raced go-karts from the time I was 8 till I was 18, and got my hands beat up and stuff. Like, I've got arthritis in my hands and they shake sometimes, and like, it physically hurts me to hold a pinstripe brush anymore. So
Yeah. That's my
I
biggest
like
fear.
this. Yeah, like my fingers are like these 3 fingers are like 2 fingers and thumb are just jacked. So like it's like most of the time my knuckles are just almost black from just arthritis. And so like, and I've actually had people get mad at me. Like, they'll be like, "Oh, I want it pinstriped." And I'm like, "Well, I can't do that anymore." And they'll look at something I did years ago and they're like, "But," and I was like, "Yeah, but that was fucking 6 years ago or
Yeah, that was
whatever."
in my
Like,
30s.
yeah, like I was in my 30s when I did that. And it's like,
Who are these
I can
people?
tape it, like I can tape it and set my gap and do like, line around a tank, but like sitting down and actually like doing a pinstripe design, I haven't done that
Dude, but who are
years.
these people? Can you imagine talking to someone like that?
Oh,
If you
dude, I get it all
Could
the
you
time.
imagine going and being like, "Yeah, I want you to paint this tank and I want you to pinstripe it." And then the guy's like, "No, I can't do that." And then you're arguing with them?
Oh, then I've had
Yeah,
people get
like,
pissed at me at shows when like I'll be set up pinstriping and they're like, "Well, I want you to do this," and I'm like, "I don't do that." And they're like, "Well, what? I thought you were a pinstriper." I'm like, "Yeah, I am, but I like traditional pinstriping. I don't
I
do
would
you
do
even
that."
letter? Like, do you letter or do you just stripe?
Uh, so really, I tell people I'm like a traditional pinstriper. I
Right.
can letter, but like I only like doing certain fonts because that's what I'm comfortable doing, and I can scroll. but I don't like scroll, so I just usually don't do it.
So, like, the only way I could letter ever was I had to lay it all out in Photoshop first and basically make me and then, put the transfer paper under it and trace it.
Yeah, yeah,
And my end result looked fine. But
yeah.
like I'd be at shows and people would be like, "Oh, I want to get some pinstriping done." I'm like, "All right, cool. What do you want? Hood, trunk." Well, I want to get the hood done and the trunk done, and I want to get, like whatever lettered on the trunk. And I'm like, "Well, I don't letter at shows." And
Well,
they're like,
people don't get it. Like, even
"But you're
lettering
a
guys,
pinstriper." And I'm like, "Pinstriping and lettering are apples and
I
oranges."
even know, like, lettering guys that will not letter at a show.
Yeah.
Because 1, it takes way too fucking long, and 2, almost every lettering guy I've ever met, they draw it out first, and then you use that transfer paper, and you fucking put it on the van or the truck or the car or whatever. Nobody's just freehand. I mean, I guess there are some guys that
Ah.
will. There are
My
some
buddy
guys that will.
Justin my buddy Justin up in Fort Wayne, it's Old Five and Dime Sign Co. Like, he'll do like a sketch on an index card to be like, "Here, is this what you're thinking?" And you go, "Yeah." And then he'll clean like, I had him letter the back door of my van. The back door of my van says High Country on it. And he just, like, was like, "Okay, you want it, however big." And he just took a Stabilo and like loose sketched it right on the van
Yeah, yeah.
and then like loose sketched this big turkey vulture next to it. And then he just did it.
So that's
Like he
how.
just sat down and did it. And even like if you look in the lettering, there's little cactuses and shit in the lettering.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a sign painter.
Yeah.
Like he is 100% a sign.
So
I mean, it's what he does for a living.
that's how I
So like,
always used to do it. I would just sketch it real quick with the Stabilo and then just fucking run with it. But
yeah,
then my lettering buddy was like, "You're never gonna make it as good as you can if you don't sketch it first." And
yeah.
then
Well, that's what
my
he would do. He would
mentor,
do little
right.
little,
But, like, I'm saying, like, my buddy would, like, he would sketch it to size.
yeah,
And just because, and I think it was a lot of because he was, like, a perfectionist of what he fucking did. But then even, like, one of my mentor for pinstriping, he'll pinstripe all the traditional shit you want at a show. He'll scroll at a show, but he's not gonna paint a rat fink at a show. You know what I mean?
right.
Because it's like,
Takes too
and,
long.
like, people don't understand, like, in the me being as stupid as I was when I first started, I would just sketch out a rat fink with a fucking Stabilo on the truck or the car or whatever it is, and then start painting. And he was like, "Nah, you gotta draw that bitch on paper. Then use your transfer paper because you wanna put out the best quality that you can. You don't wanna just make that quick money at a show, and it's not as good as your work usually would be." You know what I mean? Because then that's on
Right.
somebody's vehicle for the rest of forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, people don't know, like, and some people assume because you can paint, you can stripe, and because you can stripe, you can paint, and because you can letter, you can stripe, or because you can like they think because we know how to do like one aspect of, I mean, I guess you can still call it custom culture, lowbrow art, like we can do it all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
And
huge misconception.
some people can, and some people can't,
Yeah, yeah,
and some people are better in like, one aspect of it than
yeah. Like,
others.
I know 2 guys, I won't say the names of the 'cause I'm not gonna put them on blast, but 2 guys that are well known in pinstriping, well known on Instagram, that, like, paint murals, like, massive murals on helmets and fucking gas tanks. And they'll call me and ask me questions on how to do a traditional pinstripe piece because they just don't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's, like, what it is. Like, you can do the most, like, craziest fucking, portrait or whatever, but that doesn't mean you can letter, or that doesn't mean you can pinstripe. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't
right.
understand that.
And what used to really fuck with people, so when I did stripe at shows, um, I would walk up to the car and be like, "What color do you want? Where do you want it? How big?" And they'd tell me, and I would just draw a center line
Yeah.
on their hood or trunk or whatever, and they'd be like, "Well, what's it gonna look like?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Like,
We'll
"What colors
see.
did you want?" And, you know, you've striped at shows, like, anytime I walked up to a black car, I just instantly got out red and white because
Yeah,
that's all
gotta get out
anybody
the
wanted.
yeah, you gotta get out the red, the white, and the fucking
Uh,
ivory.
ivory or chamois or whatever, and it's like, well, what's it gonna look like? Well, it's gonna be red and white. Like,
Yeah.
that's really all I
The
know,
only
and it's
the
gonna go
only
out
input I give
this
anybody,
far.
and this is I've told Dan this from No Luck Paintworks, because you guys as, like, painters, I mean, you kinda broke out of it a little bit, like, doing all the raffle stuff, because you really get to decide whatever the fuck you wanna do. But a lot of painters have their hands tied because, like, people come in and like, "I want this paint job." You know what I mean? And I always tell Dan that's why I love pinstriping, because I give you get to put 2 pieces of input in, what color and what style. You know what I mean? If you want traditional
Yeah.
pinstriping, what color do you want it? You want scroll, what color do you want it? That's all you get to tell me. And how big, obviously, because that depends on how much you're gonna spend.
It's like going to a tattoo shop. You can't tell the tattoo guy how to make fucking tattoos. I mean, you're going to someone that knows how to do it better than you, so you got to trust them a
Yeah,
little bit. You know,
yeah.
give them a little bit of direction.
And
You know,
with
like
pinstriping, it's not like a design. You know what I mean? Like, the design's not in my head. I'm not like, "This is what I'm doing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At most, I know what my center line is.
You know what like, I used to call them comfort strokes.
Yeah.
You know what your comfort strokes are, so you know you're gonna do this in the center, you know you're gonna do this to start, and then everything after that is just, like, what fits the car.
Yeah, yeah. And I
And
think the other thing
it's
people
like,
don't
you know.
realize is, like, how hard it is to pinstripe. I feel like
Oh,
people think
yeah.
it's just like, "Oh, it's a little brush, and, like, you can do it right at a show." If people understood, like, anybody that's ever attempted pinstriping has learned this pretty fucking quick. It is so hard, and it's so easy to suck at it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, once you get good, like, you're in your garage and you're painting all the time, and you're like, "I'm a beast at this." And then you go outside and do it at a show when there's a 15-mile-per-hour crosswind and it's 95 degrees out
In 100%
in
humidity.
100% humidity, and everybody just waxed their car before they showed up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now it's a different game. Now you figure out, like, who's the pinstripers from the pinstripers.
Man, I used to see, like, wild shit, like, you know, because 'cause I've been around 19 years, so, you know, you go 15, 15, 14 years ago, uh, there was a kid at a show out in Kansas. I mean, he was just fucking cars up. And he was only charging like $20 a car.
Oh my
Like
god,
that's
dude.
and people didn't care. And like me and other people that were there doing it for a living, and we were, I don't even know what it costs to get anything striped anymore. Like I used to tell people at shows, $100 for your hood, $100 for your trunk.
Oh,
And then it
man.
was like $30 for every door handle or around your antenna or whatever. So like if you got, your front door handles done, that's another $60. If that tells you how long ago it
Yeah.
was.
Right now, I tell people
And
the size of my hand. I got a pretty big hand. The size of my
yeah,
hand is $100.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
about
So
the
it
size
was
of a
so
car
like if I
hood.
did a hood and a trunk, it was $200.
Yeah.
And it was like, and this kid was just doing cars for $20. I watched another pinstriper. Like, I thought the kid was gonna die. I thought the pinstriper was gonna beat them to death because they were like, "Well, how many cars did you do today?" It's like, "Well, I did like 10 cars." And he's like, "All right, well, assuming those were just hoods, like you just took like, you know, $1,000 out of my pocket, like,
Yeah.
and you're just here dicking off and having fun." And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
people put a lot of money into their bikes and their cars and their, whatever. I don't care what it is. Like, if someone's paying you to do something, do it the best. And if you're not good enough, don't go out there and do it. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
know
can't be
everybody's got
hitting
to start
shows.
somewhere, but like, again, practice on panels. You know how many fucking toilet seats I striped when I
Oh
was
my
younger?
god, dude.
Like God, because they were cheap and easy to get. Like, you could just go to Walmart, buy a $10 toilet seat, go home, pop it off, and, like, you got a perfectly flat panel to stripe on, and
Yeah.
it's like, I've probably thrown away so many damn toilet seats, it's ridiculous, so Which funny, speaking, I saw somebody the other day, and I'm mad I didn't think of this. I can't remember who did it. Somebody on Instagram like candied and flaked the toilet seat and did an image transfer on it. When you raise the lid, you know, and you're looking at it, it had a picture of can't remember his name, the dad from Friday, like spraying the air freshener in the bathroom. I was like, I'm so mad I didn't think
I
of
know
this.
that.
But it was all like blue. It was beautiful.
Every
It
time
was-
I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
I've been smelling your shit for 23 years. You can smell mine for 30 seconds.
Dude, that fucking movie is so good. I watched that movie a billion times.
So I've seen that
I was like,
fucking
why
movie
is
so many
this
times.
like, why didn't I think of this? But yeah, I mean, there's so many good painters out there. It's ridiculous. And it's just, when somebody asks like me, or I'm sure anybody else, to paint their stuff, you're just like I'm thankful for everybody that wants me to paint something for them, because I mean, there's a million people you could pick. Like, you just
Yeah.
open Instagram and it's just full of favorites. So
Yeah, I gotta say though, like, you know, just like looking through your body of work, like I'm not a paint guy, you know, but like I see lots of paint work done, and like I don't know, it just the different styles, they're all executed beautifully, and they just look so nice. You know, like when I see one of your tanks that you've done, I'm just like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like I can't imagine it looking any better than that. That's a chopper tank. It's got titties, it got panels, it got flames, it got, you know, like it's just like the perfect tank. And the other thing I wanted to ask you too is like you were saying, you know, obviously like naked vintage ladies with bush cell, but like patina too, to be able to do that really well,
Oh, so
that is tough.
I've
You
seen
know, there's
so many
not a whole
patina
lot of,
paint jobs that I fucking cannot stand.
yeah.
yeah, it's
And I'm also interested in like the longevity of it too, because like there's all sorts of different methods to get that look, and a lot of them don't hold up, you know?
right. It's so like I did a whole shovel head. It was either last year or year before. I think it was I think I did it year before last. He didn't come get it till January of last year. For there's a guy up in Detroit I've painted a couple bikes for, and he was building a shovel head, and he wanted the whole bike done. He wanted the frame done, tank, fender, oil bag. And he rides the shit out of that bike, and it still looks like it did the day it left. And he said he'll take it to shows and people will be like, "Man, where did you find this thing?" And he's like, "Well, you know, Time Bomb Custom, you know, it was this." And then I took it to Time Bomb Customs and he painted it. And they're like, "Wait, that's new paint, new paint." And it's like, yeah, it's brand new. And it's like, cause I do everything the same. It's just as I would whenever I do a gloss job, it's just the final clear coat that's different. That's the only thing that's different. And I mean, everybody knows, like, if you get one of my tanks and open the box, like the smell of lacquer is gonna knock you down. And it's just, you know, lacquer's lacquer. So and lacquer gets hard as a brick. So if you do everything right, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And and a trick I got taught by another painter years ago, because I know like one of the biggest killers of paint jobs is the gas caps, because the fumes will build up around the cap and soften the paint. And then once it creeps under, it's done. So like most of what I paint is a bayonet style cap. So I'll tape off like the top of the cap about yay far and leave it bare metal and make sure none gets on the very top too. And then when I'm done, I'll put a rubber glove on and take JB weld and smear it around that bare metal on the sides, and it seals that lip where I had my tape line, and that paint never moves. It
That's
will
a hot
never
tip.
move.
No shit.
So if you ever get one that goes soft on you, trim it, you can trim it off with a razor blade and leave your cap off of it and let everything gas out and harden back up. And then you can do that. It'll never move
Oh,
ever.
no shit.
So
That's a hot tip
yeah,
from a professional.
they used to do, some people used to use clear fingernail polish too. That was a thing like back in the 70s and 80s. And I know some people have told me, like one shot, like side painters paint works because gas won't hurt one shot.
Yep.
So like if it's a screw in cap, I'll actually paint like around it a little bit, like where you won't see it when the cap's on it. Like I'll take a little bit of one shot and go around it and actually like go down in the threads a little bit. And yeah, just it's all like they gotta look good when they leave and they gotta look good 5 years. So like, like if you look at my KZ, I painted that bike 10 years ago. And I mean, that bike, I rode the shit out of that bike. And then when I sold it, Dan, he rode the shit out of it for a year. And I mean, it's a little banged up, like, from changing hands so many times and things like that. But the core of the tank, like, is fine. It's holding. So is it my
Yeah.
best paint job? No, it's 10 years old. But it's like I look at it all the time. I'm like, I really want to repaint that. But at the same time, it's 10 years old. So I don't want to fuck with it. I'll just ride it.
Yeah.
It's got
I mean,
it's got
that's
Elvira on it naked, so I'm just gonna run with it.
that's kind of like my perspective is like have it like really have a really nice paint job. But if you're gonna ride that fucking thing, it's gonna get fucked up, and you have to be okay with it. Like
Yeah.
100%.
you're gonna spill some gas, things are gonna get chipped, like, and even actually today, like I had to do some welding on my frame on the shovel head because I'm doing another seat. So I was welding in some bungs, and I was like, "See you later, paint job." That fucking shit just bubbled up and fucking
Yep.
smoked off, and it's just like, "C'est la vie, baby." I mean, that's part of like, if you have a bike and you're riding it, it's going to get beat up, and that's beautiful. Like that's why you get the fucking patina paint job.
Yeah. So you
'Cause
don't
you
have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
and like the Honda that I'm piecing together now, I'm gonna age the whole thing because I don't want to fuck with chrome. I
Yeah,
don't want to fuck with new chrome. And so like I'm just gonna age the frame, I'm gonna age the tank, and it's got, I pulled the oil bag off the Amen, so it's got an old chrome oil bag on it. And but the tank and fender and frame, yeah, it'll probably end up orange to match my van, either orange or baby blue, and I'm just gonna age the whole thing. So
yeah,
it'll be, then I don't have to worry about it. Like I won't care if it gets chipped or
yeah. Because then it's just becomes part of the paint job, anyways.
yeah,
Like,
it's
oh,
like, yeah,
that chip looks really authentic.
yeah, it's
No, that actually
it's
happened.
it it's just when you age them, it's finding that happy, I call them perfectly imperfect. Like I said, you have to know when to say when, like when to stop. And because I mean, you can go so far with it, and then like you can knock paint off of them if you do it. Like I've had a couple where I was like, oh shit, if I would have done it just a little bit more in that one spot, like something to let go. Like if it's not gonna go, it's not gonna go in that spot. And just you gotta learn to go, okay, well, it's not gonna crack the way I want it right here. So I'm gonna move on to another spot.
Yeah. So after almost 20 years of painting, what advice would you give young painters trying to get that are passionate about it, that want to maybe start something up of their own? What kind of advice would you give them?
Practice on small stuff first. Expect to spend a lot of money for, you know, good guns, good materials. Like, everything I have is either Iwata or Del Vibus guns. And they ain't cheap, good airbrush. Like get good if you're serious about it, get good stuff practice. And when you think you're good enough to sell shit, practice some more. And like it's weird how things have changed over the years. Like I remember when I started just striping, like I had a job. So whenever I would go to shows, I found out everyone who worked those shows every year, like pinstripers. And this was when MySpace was just getting started and no Facebook. So I would email those guys and be like, "Hey, do you care if I come and do this? Because this is your job. I've got a job." And they would all be like, "Yeah, sure, man, come." Like, and like you get to be friends with them and then they start showing you stuff. And because it was still like super kind of secretive, like whatever. Like there weren't like Coast Airbrush was doing classes, but like there wasn't a million, weekend getaways like there is now. And so like I got to be friends with some stripers and they would help me out. And then whenever I got into painting, by that time I'd been doing car shows like the whole time. So I met guys like, Flying Weasel and Daryl Rotten and a few others. And because I'd been pinstriping for so long and doing shows and talking to them, like they respected me enough to go, "Hey, like when you do this. And, oh, you're having trouble with this. Well, do this and it'll help." And that helped out a ton. It's not like it is now where like, you know, people call it gatekeeping, but like if I'm all for people learning new skills. Like if someone wants to learn a skill, wants to learn how to do something, I'm all for it. I 100% support it. But the it's weird, like to me, just sending some person you've never met, never talked to, never eat, like you don't know them from anyone. Like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And the comparison I give it is, walk into a tattoo shop and go, "Hey guys, like I'm getting ready to tattoo my buddy at my house, like, but I'm having trouble with like this whip shade. Like, how do you do it? Like, see how quick you leave
Oh, they're
that
gonna
shop."
beat you up.
No.
Yeah. And they may not beat you up now, but they'll at least tell you to get the fuck out. And it's weird because I've seen and heard people be like, "Oh yeah, that time bomb dude gets real mad if you ask him how to age something or how to do it." I don't get mad. I just I started out just telling people like, "Hey, like this is my job. If I tell everyone how to do my job, I'm not gonna have a job very long. Like, I'm sorry I can't." And 9 out of 10 times when I would say that, I would be called a gatekeeper and I'd be blocked. And then I'd hear like, "Oh, he got mad." I'm like, "I ain't getting mad." I was just like, "Hey, like, out of respect for us, for those of us that have been doing it a long time, like maybe get to know us a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?"
Actually, you know what? I gotta say that that's the best advice is like when you reached out to those dudes at the show and you're like, "Hey, is it cool if I call?" Like show a little respect, kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like tattoos are great example, right? Because it's like you got to earn your way in. Arts of like painting, you have to earn your way in. And if you show people respect up front, well, they will reveal they'll help you along. But if you just go out there with your fucking hand out on social media and you're just like, "Give me all your secrets," it's like you haven't fucking earned it, dude. Like
Well, the
show a little respect.
one of the cool like a great example, my best friend who I love and adore like he's my brother, is a tattoo artist and he tattoos me. And years ago, I was like, I think, and the way we met actually was he had left a tattoo shop and was starting his own. And he was like, "Hey, like I want my windows lettered. Can you letter my windows?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "But I don't have a whole lot of money to pay you because I'm just starting the shop. Like, can I pay you in tattoos? And I was like, yeah, sure. And through that, we became best friends. So fast forward several years, I'm hanging out at his shop and he may have been like getting ready to tattoo me or something. And he was doing he was doing watercolor flag with spit shading and stuff. And I was like, man, that is one thing that always blows my mind is when I see them like, like the real spit shading where they're putting the brush in their mouth and like pulling from dark to light out of one line of color. And I was like, hey man, that's really cool. Like, would you mind teaching me how to do that? And he said, and he was like, I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he basically the gist of it was he promised the person that taught him how to do it that he would never teach anyone that wasn't a tattooer how to do it. And I respected that.
Mhm.
So and that's where we left it. I was just like, all right, cool. I get it. And he apologized to me later. And I was like, dude, you ain't got nothing to apologize for. Like, I can open my Instagram right now and there's 20 DMs sitting in my other folder. Like, I've never painted a bike. How do you do image transfers? How do you do that crackle effect? You know, how do you do this? How you do that? And I've learned just not to answer people because it's less of a headache. And then, but then on the flip side of that, like you got all these people doing classes and stuff, which is fine. But then like people ask me for advice and I'm like, oh, I'll tell you how to do that for $1,000 or whatever. Cause once you know how to do it, you'll make that back. And then I get called a money hungry gatekeeper. And I'm just like, but this is like, like I said, go in a tattoo shop, ask those dudes how to do something. Like you ain't gonna
Well,
get
wouldn't it
very
wouldn't
far.
it have been nice if someone just told you how to do everything
Right.
without having to figure it out on your own?
Like some
Wouldn't
people
that
have
have
told
been
me
nice?
things over the years. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I figured out everything. Like I had help. But again, I knew those people
Yeah.
and like I had communications with them and like, the dude that taught me how to pinstripe, I bought stuff from me
Yeah.
like all the time.
Well, that's the same.
And
Like when I learned how to pinstripe, I have a local pinstripe guy that's like 20 minutes from me, absolute stud. And he let me just suck at pinstriping for like 6 months. Like, I mean, like, suck. And he invited me over to his place. We did some pinstriping. Then he invited me to a panel jam that was like 2 hours away. And when I showed up to that, he was like, okay, you're about it. You shown me you're about it. You struggled the last 6 months. You showed up when I asked you to show up. And he just opened up the floodgates. Anything I wanted to know, he was down to teach me. He showed me what brushes to get, how to fucking palette paint the right way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I agree with what both of you guys are saying is like, show a little bit of interest because for me to get where I am in pinstriping, I'm not even great. You know what I mean? But I practice every single night, 7 days a week for 2 hours a night. For an entire year, I did that. You know what I mean? So it's like, for you to just come to me and be like, well, I want to know, kind of a slap in the face. You know what I mean?
no
Well, it
no
never
one is
it never hurts to ask though, because like,
right.
like people ask me about like fucking vapor holding. I don't give a shit, That's me. I don't care. Go ahead and do your thing, and I'm happy to help. But like, you also have to respect that some people don't want to give away everything that they've earned over the years, Like, you have to be. It's not your information. You don't own that shit, And it's not about gatekeeping. It's just like, like you might ask 3 painters how to do a certain thing, and someone might tell you and offer it up because they're in a different position. But like, just respect people's, especially if they're making money off it and it's their livelihood. That's a different game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what I do, I just do a little side hustle. That's different. I don't give a fuck. You're not
And I want to
taking
make it
money
clear,
off
like,
my.
I'm down to help people get into pinstriping because pinstriping is a dying fucking thing. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people are fucking doing it. And I'm down to help people, but it's like, show me that you actually have interest. You know what I mean? Not that you just want the quick, easy way around it so you can pinstripe your gas tank. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's all I
And it's
require.
like,
Show me
oh,
that you are, like, legitimately interested in the art, and I'll tell you whatever the fuck you wanna know.
well, and it's like you said, like people's like, oh, well, I'm painting my own bike. And while I respect that and that's awesome, like you're gonna go spend enough money buying everything to paint your one bike to paint 5 bikes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
by the time,
Yeah.
if especially if you don't have gun, so it's because it's not just it's paint, it's guns, it's compressors, it's tape. I wish I had back a quarter of the money that I've spent on tape. And it's tape is
And even just
stupid.
the time alone is fucking
Yeah,
insane. Like, anybody that does
like
any
it's
form of paint, I don't care what it is, whether you're painting chopper stuff, bagger stuff, pinstriping, airbrushing, it takes so long to be good at it that it's kind of
and
fucking
fast
sickening. Like, you need to be okay with
and be
fucking
fast.
sucking. You know what I mean? To get better, you need to be okay with sucking, and that's a hard fucking pill to swallow.
Well, it's like when David was on talking to you guys about me painting the digger bike. He was like, "Man, I was getting nervous because I'm driving cross country and like, a few days before I'm supposed to be there, like he sent me a picture of it just in silver and was like, all right, well, it's in silver." And he was like, I don't know if he's gonna get this done. I like that bike was silver. I came home, ate dinner, fed the cat, and went back.
Yeah.
And in 6 hours, that bike was done. Like it
Fucking
was
A.
airbrushed, it
Yeah,
was
that's
based,
gangster.
it was cracked, and it's because over the course of 19 years of doing art, I've gotten fast.
Right.
Like today, like I got into the shop late today. I always get in the shop late. I'm a terrible at time management. Um, but in 5 hours today, I painted that helmet that I mean, it was already flaked, but I taped and painted that helmet that's in my stories, and I wet sanded, painted, pearled, smoked, and cleared a gas tank,
Yeah.
and it's ready
Well,
for fire.
that's why mechanics get fucking, shop time, or whatever it's called. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, if you can do a fucking brake job in less than the time that it takes, you pocket the money.
yeah,
It's because it's the experience and the proficiency that you've built over the years. It's like, dude, when I painted my fucking tins, it took me like 3 weeks, and I fucked it up a lot, and it's like, that's what you're paying for, dude. You're paying for
Well,
the
yeah,
so
experience.
yeah,
You're
I wanna
paying
say
for all
this
the times
too.
that you fucked it up.
I wanna say this too, is Rhino is one of the people that I know, and I know Rhino personally very fucking well. But he was doing his own paint job, and he wanted to pinstripe his own bike. And I was like, "Dude, fucking sick." And Rhino wasn't like, "Hey, can you come down here and fucking give me a tutorial on how to pinstripe and how to do this and how to do that?" He just attempted it and then sent me pictures and was like, "What did I do wrong?" And then we talked about some brushes he could get and the
A
paint to
lot.
use, and then he went back and did it again, and then asked for me to critique it, and then did it again, and then repainted the entire bike, and then did it again. You know what I mean? That's like, that's what I like. It's like when you're not gonna, and like I said, I'm down to fucking help anybody, but it's like, show the fucking initiative.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like I said, there's so many of us out there, like, and there's so many good ones. Like, I'll rattle off like, bazooka. Like I'm drinking out of a fucking water bottle right now. That bazooka tooth, like bazooka tooth, is amazing. Triple paint works, amazing. Nobody knows I'm a shithead, amazing. Skull tits blows my fucking mind. And it's just like, and they're cool and they're humble people.
Yeah.
Like,
And then, so
and
that's one
like
thing I'll say. I know you,
I can ask I can ask them dude anything, and they'll tell me, and they can ask me, and I'll tell them because we've established a communication and a
right.
respect with each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
And
there's I won't say who it is, but there's one of the like super big painters. When I started painting, I I I really looked up to him, and I thought like, man, if I could just get a half as good as this person. And we followed each other on social media. We don't anymore. And it's because the only time they had anything to say to me is when I did something wrong.
Yeah.
That was it.
Can I guess who it is? Is it No Luck Paintworks?
Shut up.
No.
Is it Dan? Dan, you fucking asshole.
No. And then like back to what we were talking about, like asking questions when I was starting to figure out how to age paint, trying to figure out how to age paint. Um, I asked 2 other painters. One of them was in a completely different continent than me. And he was like, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money figuring this out. I don't tell nobody. And I was like, cool. I asked another one and he just blocked me. Like that was it. Like done. And then there was another painter that I was like, well, I know that like when this stuff, like I know there's other aspects where things get aged. And I was like, I think so I looked up how other things are done. And I was like, I think this is done this way. And I asked another painter and they were like, yeah, that's how you do it. And it was somebody that I talked to
Yeah.
like pretty frequently then. And, it's like, if you come to me, you're like, I think this is how, if you're right, I'll tell you right, you know, and and like that kill speed scum cult dude, or can never get his name right. Is that right? Is it kill speed scum?
Kill Speed Scum Cult. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah. It's an awesome name.
Yeah. He's an awesome dude. And, you know, we had talked and he asked me and I told him, and then he called me. He's like, I can't even find that clear coat where I live because I live in California.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta go to Nevada to get it. So again, it's just, you know, just respect each other and help each other. Like if you follow a painter and you're, you know, and they're sharing something and you're a painter, like it doesn't hurt to tell them, hey, this looks good. Like this looks good. This, you know, this looks bad or whatever. And it, you know, don't tell them it looks bad, I guess, but if they ask, but like,
Oh, if Dan, anytime
just give
Dan
each
ever
other
asks
the
me, I tell
mutual
him.
respect and help each other with sharing things, liking things. And because I mean, there's enough, like as many of us as there is out there, there's enough out there for us all to eat,
Oh, for sure.
you know, as long as we're all, you know,
Nobody's
not
stealing
throwing
your
food at
pie
each
slice.
other.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an
So,
infinitely big pie.
Yeah. That's the one thing I'll say about Dan. And I know you haven't listened to too much of the show, but we've done a couple episodes with him. But Dan is just such like a stubborn fucking dude that he's just been grinding it out for years in his garage and like refuses to ask other painters how to do things. He like will not. I mean, I think he talks to a couple local painters or whatever. But like he's just that kind of guy where it's like, if he wants to do, say, the crackle paint, he's just gonna keep fucking shit up until he figures out how to do it the right way.
and I respect that. Like, I respect the hell out of that. Like, can't figure, like, eventually you're going to you're going to figure it out eventually. So even a broken
Try
clock's
on it.
right twice a day.
Yeah.
So
But I
it's,
think that kind
you're
of
gonna,
like,
you're going to figure it
I
out.
think that kind of artist says a lot, though. It's like a guy that takes, and not just Dan, I'm not sucking Dan's dick. A lot of artists are like this. Is like, one, they critique the fuck out of themselves. They think everything they do sucks. And then the guys that refuse to give up and keep doing shit until they figure out how to do it the right way. I think that says a lot about like that artist and like how serious they take the craft that they are fucking with. You know what I mean? It's easy to just ask how to do something, but to take the time to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's not even like about. It's just a character trait, you know. Like be humble, show respect. Like you should do that everywhere in your life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people that don't get that, then they don't get the cheat codes. They don't get the leg up. They don't get like the shortcuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like surround yourself with people that have respect, that are humble, that you know, like do that work ethic. You know what I mean? Like fail. It's like that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, like you're supposed to do that. That's part of the journey. But Guys, we're at fucking 2 hours. We got to get, before we get any further down this rabbit hole, we got to shout out some of the people that make this show possible. First up,
we got Lowbrow Customs, everything you need for the road ahead. One of the only websites where you can build an entire fucking chopper on one site. Tyler and his team support literally every fucking chopper show across the country. So repay the favor by shopping at lowbrowcustoms.com. Next, we got Dan from No Luck Paintworks, cooking up some of the dopest fucking paint jobs on the East Coast. You heard us brag a little bit about our friend here on the episode. Hit him up if you need some paint work done. Whether it's choppers, fucking baggers, diners, whatever. Dan can get you looking right at No Luck Paintworks on Instagram. Next, we got Deadbeat Customs, the creator of the Deadbeat Retreat. Steve has been supporting us through all the bullshit that our life has gone through. We're like bad boyfriends to Deadbeat Customs. We're like the ones that cheat and he takes us back. But Steve just keeps the love strong for us, supports the Low Life Chopper podcast since the very fucking beginning. So help us repay that favor and shop at deadbeatcustoms.com. Use code LOWLIFE at checkout. He has stuff for the chopper guys, the diner guys, performance baggers, luggage, whatever the fuck you need, you can get it at deadbeatcustoms.com. Next, we got Steel City Blacksmithing. Josh is in PA, twisting up everything metal, making everything look sexy. If you want to bring your bike to the next level, hit up Steel City Blacksmithing on Instagram and tell them the boys from the Low Life Chopper podcast sent you. Next, we got Stay Strong Co. We had that meeting, baby. There will be a Low Life Chopper podcast edition fucking hot sauce. All right? I don't know. Is it going to be as good as the shit hot sauce? Who fucking knows? It's a hard bar to fucking
it's
set.
gonna be better.
It's going to be a tough fucking feat. But make sure you follow Stay Strong Co. on Instagram. Check out staystrongco.com and pick up some of the shit hot sauce and keep your eyes out for that Low Life edition.
Next up, we got We Motor Co. That's HUI Motor Co. on Instagram. Gear price for riders so they can still afford to ride. I think that massive discount on the vests has run up by the time you're hearing this. I don't know. Go check them out. That was $100 off when you get the new club style vest. These things are beautiful. They have a place to put your sunglasses so you don't have to stuff it in here and then your beard gets all over it, and your beard oil, your essential oils you put in your beard, smear your sunglasses, you put them back on, you can't ride. Damn. Go check them out. We Motor Co. Enter code LOWLIFE at checkout. Burnt Up Wood Burning. Matt over there at Burnt Up Wood Burning. He doesn't use CNCs. He doesn't use fucking computers. He uses these mitts, baby. Photorealistic motorcycles, hot rods, your old lady's titties. He'll do it all. He's also cooking up a giveaway for the LCP for our patrons. I never sent you those photos, by the way. I said I was going to send you those. I never sent them. But I will send them, and it looks beautiful. So Burnt Up Wood Burning. Go check him out. He does commission work. Next up, we have Loctite's motherfucking chop shop.
For all your pinstriping needs, hit me up. Oh, I didn't say. Conveniently located in Epping, New Hampshire, the motherfucking center of the universe. For all of your pinstripe needs, hit me up. Whether you want shop signs, full tins, whatever, fucking hit me up. We can get it done. You can mail it to me. If you're local, I can swing by, do it in your garage, or you can catch me at a motherfucking show this summer. Next up, we got Rhino Resto.
Inconveniently located in Henniker, New Hampshire, a.k.a. Northern Canada. Southern Canada?
Southern Canada.
Home of the Southern Canada. Well, hopefully you parlez-vous français, because that's all we speak over here. Home of the Vapor Honer Boner, except no substitutions, with a focus and passion on vintage motorcycle and tool restoration, friendly service, even friendlier prices. Contact me today for a free quote or a joke. Last, but certainly not least,
This show.
the Low Life motherfucking Chopper podcast, the premier Chopper podcast. I can't think of another Chopper podcast I'd rather listen to. Every motherfucking Friday without fail, 5 years running. We're coming up on, dude, I've been doing this almost 50 episodes now.
Shit.
Time flies, baby. Time flies. Go to lowlifechopperpodcast.com, sign up for our Patreon. $1, $5, $10 a month if you want to get into the giveaway, so you can get some fucking awesome bars. We have Cornerstone Manufacturing seats. We have fucking burnt up wood burning. We have mad fucking giveaways. Go check out our episodes there. Go buy some merch at our store. www.lowlifechopperpodcast.com has everything there, even our emails if you want to get in touch with us. And by the way, shout out, I got a bunch of emails this week from a bunch of dudes. I don't have my phone on me right now, but we respond to emails. So go ahead and go to lowlifechopperpodcast.com, even if you just want to say, hey guys, you're doing great. Much appreciated.
And share, listen, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't cost money to support us. Share the post on Friday, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Domo arigato.
Mr. Roboto.
I think we got it all. We're done. This is the longest episode we've done in a while. Jason, it's been fucking awesome. I really appreciate you coming on. This was amazing, and we got to have you on again. Go check out, I guess, give yourself a plug here, buddy. So at TBK 1977, I don't know what the backup account is, just in case you get closed down for showing titties.
The backup account is just Time Bomb Kustoms. It's actually, and the website is timebombkustoms.bigcartel.com, customs with a K. And also, with the van stuff, I also run the Van Power Magazine Instagram because I have got enough to do. So I decided to bring Van Power Magazine back.
Sick.
And yeah, we got I actually should see the proof for the first issue this week.
No shit.
Yeah.
So that was like a magazine that went bye-bye and you brought it back?
Yeah, it was in the 70s, and I think there was only like 10 to 15 issues, maybe. It's one of the harder ones to find. And
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was my favorite one. And when I went to Colorado for nationals last year, when you're in a van for 2 days, you got a lot of time to think about shit. And I don't know if it was the heat or just like something that I knew I wanted to do, but either way I decided to do it. It may have been like some weird fever dream from, sweating my ass off in a sweat box all day, but
some fucking old bacteria from shag carpet or something.
Yeah, so who knows? But it's
Meningitis.
done. It's done. It's at the printer. We're only running 200 issues, so it's all going to be like a limited run thing. And yeah, we're not printing thousands of issues of it. It's just 200 done, on to the next one. So
fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Jason, stick around. Low Lifes, enjoy your weekend. We love you, baby.
Jesus Christ.